Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Winpe Ignite PEVC Career Talk series. We are still admitting people, so we'll give it another minute and then we'll get started. A message to those participants whose Zoom name is not on our list of registered participants. Please either update your Zoom ID to match the one you've used for registration, or in case you've registered, please use the link in the chat box to do so. We are ready to start. For those of you who don't know us, Winpe is a pioneering platform driving gender diversity in the investing ecosystem by increasing women's participation as investors, capital allocators, and recipients of investment capital. We work closely with PEVC firms in helping them shape and execute on DI strategies, including hiring more women across roles and levels. When we launched in 2020, and we heard a member PEVC firm saying, "We want to hire women, but we can't find them," we were skeptical because we thought there are enough women keen on PEVC careers. In the last more than 5 years, Winpe has undertaken a number of initiatives aimed at supporting PEVC aspirants, including job bulletins, AMAs with industry leaders, boot camps with recruiters, and career fairs. Through these initiatives, we've also come to realize that the talent pipeline of women for PEVC is much thinner than we would like for various reasons. Ignite by Winpe is a platform designed to support the female talent pipeline in the PEVC industry. Ignite offers online career sessions, masterclasses, job vacancy information, and a profile bank of women interested in PEVC roles, accessible to Winpe member firms in an anonymized format. So when PEVC firms hire, they can access a profile repository for candidates. The profile bank is open to women at all levels, including those already in PEVC. And as I said before, we hide candidate and firm names in the database, and that is shared with hiring firms. We are sharing the form link. Please add yourself to the Ignite repository. You'll see that in the chat box. Please join the Winpe Career Network WhatsApp group that will keep you updated on our sessions and with information on job openings, which we keep posting there. I'm sharing the group link on the chat box. Before we move on to today, a reminder that if we do not find your name in the registration list, we will have no choice but to remove you from the session. So please either update your display name or fill out the registration form. Link is in the chat. Moving on to today, our topic for today is Charting Your Course, Lessons from Women Who've Redefined Success in PEVC. Introducing our speakers, Ankita Balotia, Vice President, Investment Team at Fireside Ventures, Charu Gulati, CHRO, Everstone Group India, Himangi Desai, Director for Venture Debt Instruments, Trifecta Capital, Krunali Shah Pinjani, Investor at A91 Partners, Nishtha Kohli, Senior Vice President at Warburg Pincus, Parita Ashar, CFA, Principal OIJIF, Pooja Parmar, Principal Equanimity Investments, Prachi Marwa, Senior Vice President, Risk Capital, Sanjana Tulsiani, Senior Vice President, Investments at Iron Pillar, Sarika Saxena, Managing Partner, IAN Alpha Fund, Shweta Ladda, Senior Vice President and Head of Compliance and Secretarial, Multiples Private Equity Group, Snigdha Jain, Executive Vice President, Assertis Credit. We will now be moving into our four breakout rooms, each featuring three expert speakers. For the private equity room, where we'll have Prachi, Nishtha, and Parita. Early growth, late VC, here we will have Krunali, Mangi, and Sanjana. Early stage VC with Pooja, Ankita, and Sarika. Operating roles with Charu, Snigdha, and Shweta. Please join your respective breakout rooms to gain valuable insights into private equity and venture capital from our distinguished speakers. Feel free to explore. You can move between breakout rooms during the session to listen in on the different discussions and gain insights from all of our speakers. Some housekeeping notes before we begin. This session is being recorded and an edited version of the recording will be made available for future reference. You can type your breakout room's topic-related questions anytime during the breakout session in the chat box. For any general questions, please post them in the main session and we will pick them up at the end of the session. After the breakout session, please come back to the main room for a Q&A round with all the speakers. Without further delay, let's get started.
Hey, morning, everyone. How are you?
Hey, Ankita.
Hey, hi, Sarika. How are you?
All good, thank you.
So we are waiting for more people to join. Hi, Hansi. Hi, Ayushi. Hope you're doing well.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, hi.
Hey, hi.
So, shall we get started? As more and more folks join in, I know there are people who will be switching between the rooms. So, Hansi, Ayushi, you let us know if there are any burning questions you have on your mind. And we will, anyways, touch upon some of the critical questions that one has when they are part of any early stage VC or aspiring to be part of an early stage VC. So we'll probably get started. Pooja, Sarika, and I mean, I think the biggest question we all had when we were joining this industry was, it's a very flat industry. There is not a lot of hierarchy. And the lines of, how do you even define success? What success means? Is it the track record? Is it becoming a partner? Is it showing some exits, being part of a larger VC? What does success even mean? And like, how do you identify which path to carve out for yourself? I think that could be the first question we can all start with, because at least I know that was the biggest question I had in my mind when I was switching from consulting to investing.
Can I just put a question up here already, Ankita?
Yeah, please go.
So before I get to success, I want to learn how to join the industry. Usually people join when they're young, and I've already done a career in consulting. I've done 30 years of consulting, research, content, and now I'm considering, I haven't decided, but I'm considering early stage investing or VC investing, climate VC investing. But a couple of conversations I've had with some climate VCs was, why should we take you? You don't have any deal experience. So all my experience is on paper, but not having done a deal, because I was buy side. I was Mercer Investment Consulting. I was super buy side. I've never done sell side. So I have no technical transaction experience. But I have the valuation experience on paper because I am a CFA. I've got experience. But these VCs weren't willing to let me in at all. So I'm curious as to how to break in. And I must say, it didn't occur to me to reach out to Winpe. It was just, I've been on mailing list for years. And just this morning, for some reason, this morning or yesterday, I saw this email. It's like, huh? What? It's been sitting in my inbox all these years and I've not picked it up. So I don't even know if this is meant to be the topic, but that's what I would love to get out of the session.
No, it's a very relevant question, because this session is also for people who are looking to join early stage VC, right? And the biggest questions they would have on their minds, either with respect to breaking in into the industry or what to expect once they join the industry. So, Pooja, Sarika, any one of you want to pick this up?
Sarika, if you want, you can go ahead, or I can
Or
start.
I
go
can
ahead.
also
Go ahead,
add to
please.
it. I can add
go
to it,
ahead.
because
Yeah.
just to add,
Okay.
Fireside Ventures, we have a strength of 26 members today, and between that, you would be very surprised to see we have investing team which is just half the size of 25, and rest is, I wouldn't even call it admin or support. It is very core. We call it the center of excellence team, wherein they all come with very high experience in their respective industries. One has had an experience of 15 years of doing org structuring, hiring, defining KPI, KRAs. And there was somebody who has done 15 years of marketing. And there is someone who has done 15 years of just doing ESG, being part of ESG conclaves, being an advisor to a UN, etc. So I think, when they joined, they had a lot of vertical experience, or I should call it functional experience. And you have to just choose the VC who is looking for that kind of depth, because see, I mean, if I can add to it, the deal experience is very different from the vertical functional experience. And every VC, as they grow, they are also realizing that capital is becoming the table stake. There is ample amount of capital available. It's the support that you can provide to the companies that is getting valued more by the founders. Because if there is a good founder out there, they would have many competing term sheets, and the one of the best way they will decide which VC they would want to go for would be by the value they will add. And therefore, many VCs you will see are now looking for functional expertise. And with these folks, the charter or the path that gets decided is many a times I would do the deal. I would be part of the board, but I would take help from everybody in the Center of Excellence team. Like I would invite them to the board meetings. They would pick up certain KPIs or KRAs in terms of deliverables with the team. For example, this person in org and HR, she also works very closely with one of our biggest companies in their strategy. And on top of it, 10 more companies on their hiring, and how do you make an org structure which is built for scale. So there might be multiple ways to break in into the industry. Not, you don't have to always go in with the deals sort of an role. You can break in with other functions and then get slowly into the deals role, and that has happened with many folks.
Yeah, Ankita, great. I mean, that is exactly what I was going to say, that deal is very small portion or one portion of actually the whole investing piece. Because there is, of course, first you have to understand what the company does, what it wants, what actually, how much money does it require. I mean, that input can come from consulting or any other field. Once you understand the business, and that I think you would have on the table, Hansi. So, that said, deal making, you can take help of a lot of individuals. Lot of teams have that support system built in. There is legal team, there is accounts team, and all of those things are there. And as Ankita said, there's a lot on the portfolio side as well, which is needed not just for one company, for a series of companies that you invest in. So I would suggest just broaden your network more than anything else. You're not reaching out to the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just add, my perspective here. So I had a very similar issue, Ansi, when I was trying to break into the industry. It's a very chicken and egg issue where people, ask you to get experience, but no one is ready to give you one. So I'll tell you what I had done to break into it. Like I was already working with a startup back then, and my role was at that time the startup was stable, so there was really not much of learning happening, and I was pretty much intrigued by the investing side of things. I actually cold messaged someone from the industry, though he didn't have a fund structure, etc., but he used to do angel investments. And I reached out to him and said, I quite like, so he was in one of the panels. So he said, yeah, let's meet. And when I met him, he said that if this is of interest, you can evaluate angel investments for me. And that's how I started. For me, in my mind, it was more like beefing up my resume by doing some of investing, even though it was angel investments, evaluating and doing that work. But at least I was getting that added. I did that pro bono for 6 odd months. And after that, I didn't know at that time when I started working on it. I later got to know that that person was starting his own fund, and that's how I actually joined Equanimity, and that kind of came in. Now, I'm not sure if this kind of works in the stage of life at which you are, but I think to answer your question, maybe one other thing you could try is build some thesis on some specific sectors. Pick up a company in the climate space and build a really detailed thesis since you have that knowledge, and then a final conclusion of whether you invest or not, and then send across that along with your resume. That kind of shows that even though you do not have that experience, but you have done this work, you've built your small portfolio. I think that should help. Yeah.
That's a great answer. Hey, hi Ayushi, hi Ishita. Welcome to this breakout room. Any specific questions you have, happy to answer those. Otherwise, we know the kind of questions which are typically top of mind for somebody who's looking to break into the industry or new to the industry. Then we'll start with those questions.
Hi, Ankita. So I'll give a bit of background from where I come. I finished my master's in finance, and then I joined a young family office in the making. So their primary cash flow businesses were intact, but they were not really generating any business. So they thought that they'll now use the funds to kind of generate returns and become cash flow positive from that aspect. So currently, I've been wanting to get more into the early stage consumer side of VC investments, but in terms of hard skills, like I don't come from a CFA or a CA background. I come from a more management, strategy and finance background in terms of masters and bachelors. And in my current role as well, it's a lot more which requires like soft skills or evaluating industries rather than financial modeling and valuations. So I just wanted to understand, in terms of hard skills, how much of a requirement would it be to get into these kind of industries? And someone coming from my background, what other than like how it was mentioned earlier about research thesis. So what more than that can I portray to show that I could be a good fit for
That's
such?
a brilliant question, Ayushi. I can probably pick it up because I don't have any finance background. I did my engineering. I was a product manager. Then I did my MBA, and then I was doing consulting. So none of the things that you mentioned, be it being a CFA or doing a master's in finance, is something that I had on my resume. I think you're right in early stage. See, because you're investing at a very early stage, there is no whatever you will build in terms of models, it's gonna be only on paper. To be very honest, there is very few times wherein you will build a model, projections, these discounted cash flow, come to a WAC, wherein it's actually gonna be possible for you to estimate with high probability. Majority of the times, it's about building relationship, building that comfort with the founder, to understand at different journeys what is it that they really require. I think it's more about the soft skills. When you are evaluating a company, it's about being able to quickly gather information about an industry and build a point of view, knowing what the single most insight is, doing a quick research with the consumers or the scale company. So it much more than any financial capability, it becomes about how capable or how quick are you to tap into your network to get the right insight to be able to evaluate a particular industry and build a point of view on that industry. And once the deal is done, it's about helping the founder in their trajectory, and financials would be the last piece on their mind. It is going to be about growth, it's going to be about distribution, how do they crack new channels, it's going to be about brand, how do they hire. So I don't think finance would feature in most of these for the longest time. Sarika, Pooja, please feel free to add.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Ankita. And I think your question is also more focused on early stage, consumer funds. So, I think you're the best person to have answered that. I totally agree. At least in early stage, financial modeling is not a core skill. Of course, one has to have some basic understanding of P&L and all because you track the company post investment. But if someone will give me a 5-year model, I mean, I am not going to look at that 5-year model because in an early stage company, within 1 year, things can change. Like
Yeah.
within 6 months, things, I mean, it's so agile, like, market and, because it's very early stage where we are getting in, we are betting on the founders, like you rightly said, Ankita. So once that rapport and that, confidence is built, towards the founder, then I think it's more about whether they're able to do those initial GTM cracking, etc., like you mentioned.
I would have a slightly different view. I would say that while it is not the most important thing, but it is something that one needs to understand. So when you're I mean, the question was on a consumer brand maybe, but there are difference. So if this consumer brand, do you think that it is just a product? What are the production inputs that go in? Whether it is the right pricing that they're using. I mean, it's more of understanding the ecosystem, not just purely the numbers, but also, have they thought of the sales side of it? So if they have, say, some distributors, they're planning to use some distributors. Is the pricing right? Do you understand that piece? So while it is not per se the numbers, but you have to understand the business model that they are coming through. And this is purely commonsensical. I mean, you don't need to have any hardcore, financial skills there, but I would say it's not completely not there. I mean, you would need to understand the ecosystem completely. And that is where I think where the earlier question from Hansi also, where once you understand, when you've been working for a while, these things come to you more organically than anything else. So I think being in a VC is more of getting your it's I think bringing together all your skills rather than having one particular piece that you need to have. So I mean, you should have some bit of it and not completely say that it's not needed.
Hey, hi, Ishita. Hi, Aditi. I know you are new to the group. Any questions you have? Happy to answer those. Else, maybe Sarika and Pooja, uh, maybe let me ask a question. And one of the biggest one when I was joining, right? That it's a very horizontal industry. There is not a lot of hierarchy as a VP, principal, associate, or a partner, except for the partner. You're almost doing very similar job. You're sourcing, you're evaluating, then you're part of portfolio. And, for an outside, somebody looking at it from the outside, it may look like, okay, everybody is doing the same job. So what does really success look like in traditional industries as you move from manager to director to CXO, the success, at least the signaling of it is very much visible. However, in this industry, what does success even mean? What do you think? Like, if you have achieved it, you are successful.
Okay, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
So that has evolved, Ankita, for me over time in the industry, like the definition of success. So when I joined, of course, doing a deal or helping in the IC note, when the deal would get announced, I would tell like my friends and my family members, like, this is the deal I was involved in, this is what I know the founders, this and that. So that was the initial definition that I have, and I don't think that has like kind of reduced. Like even now when a deal happens that you worked on end to end, of course it feels very good. So there is that happy feeling. But over time, I think what I've realized, with having seen some cycles now, that the main job actually starts after investment, when you've invested, and then now you're closely working with the company, with the founders on either strategic discussions, where to expand next, or if things are not working well, how do you try to make sure that with whatever limited capital you have, you reach that certain revenue number, help them in the fundraise, and help them in the fundraise, then you wear a sales hat. You're like actually pitching the company to larger funds. So then, when that fundraise happens, that kind of gives you, that better, that, there is that external validation that your company got in. Again, that is not the final validation. Again, more learning comes in as you grow. If the company has raised multiple rounds of funds, still doesn't mean that it will be a success from a funds perspective or from your perspective to earn a carry. So the ultimate success, I would be like, I mean, I think all of you would feel, is when you actually make an exit and good returns from the company. So that has been a success definition for me over time.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. It's funny how it changes within this a year or two from doing deals to doing up rounds and then exiting the companies. Sarika, anything
Yeah,
you
I think
want?
you're absolutely right, Pooja. That's the way the entire journey, kind of goes. And being at the level that I am at, so it's more also fundraising. It's more when the ecosystem kind of recognizes the kind of deals that you're doing. They come to us and ask, okay, can you just give us some allocation of, you guys are doing this. So that I think is more validation of, where you're at. And of course, all of these things built over a period of time, where one deal used to be the most exciting thing that you've done. And suddenly you realize, okay, you have 5 more deals in the similar space. So did you make the right decision? Then there is somebody else who has come. So all of these things just kind of loop back into themselves. And of course, the proof of the pudding is only after the exit. So it's a journey.
Why don't we speak about an example wherein we invested in a company which was very much against the grain? Like you knew your brain is telling you maybe this is not the right one, but your heart, your instinct said no, this is something that I have to back. And like I remember an instance wherein everybody, like most people in the IC were against the company. So any example you would want to share wherein you took a deal and there was a lot of resistance you faced. It either went through or did not go through, but you knew your instinct was right.
Yeah. So I mean, there's not one. There are more than one examples of that where you believe. So early stage investing is all about first the promoter. I mean, you know that they will make it. If not here, somewhere else, pivoting, whatever. It is just that you believe in them. And the time and effort it goes for you to understand that particular person, that group of people, how their dynamics work together. I think, and I see is of course a very important part, but maybe they are not privy to that dynamics or they have not seen it that closely. So yes, we have done that and pushed hard, kind of got through. So it's not one. There are more than one people where it's just the conviction on the people. I would say no business model, no nothing. It's just that we think they will make it. So we'll see. But it's going well so far. But of course, exit hasn't happened, so can't really say.
That's true. That's true. No, I have one such example wherein the company I had looked at was earlier 1.5 crore monthly revenue. Then I looked at them again, and this time I was like, I took it to the IC when they were at 2.5 crore revenue, and this was just back in July 2023. And the IC said no again. And now I see they are doing up rounds with 361 when they are at 25 crore per month. I'm like, maybe I should have pushed harder. Yeah. Pooja, any example you would want to share?
Yeah, I think we did a sector contrarian bet just last year. So, EdTech has been a sector which has got a lot of love in COVID, but as much, or I would say more bashing post-COVID. So we did take a contrarian bet and invested in an EdTech company last year that required a bit of convincing to the IC as well. But just same like Sarika, the jury is still out there. So far, so good. They've done 2x in revenues in a year's time.
Amazing.
So and now they're looking to raise as well. So hopefully it will stand the test of time and prove us right.
With physics wala's IPO, I think the interest will come.
Yeah, I hope so. Yes, that could be a good tailwind.
Absolutely. So one of the key things, and this is what after joining the industry, 2 years into it, I realized given the structure it is more about your brand, your network, your ability to convince founders to take first money, then persuade them in a direction that you think may help them with lesser mistakes. I've realized like this, and a lot of work is not in large team. It is very individual led, and you often feel alone at those times. Like I've realized having a mentor really helps. Somebody who could be your sounding board, whom you can reach out to at times when you are in a conflicting situation. Can you add some light to it? What's the best way for somebody who's either joined the industry very early or looking to crack the industry? I think in both ways, having a mentor really helps. So how did you go about it? What was the value you found in having a mentor?
So I can take this up once.
Please.
So Winpe also has this program for mentorship, especially focused on mid-level women in the industry. So I was a part of that program in 2024, and I had massive insights. So my mentor was Bala Deshpande, who is Mega Delta Capital's founding partner.
Mm.
So she gave me some very different perspectives. So I think just like how a startup is where the founder, is like so much involved in their day-to-day and business. So sometimes, investors give them that third perspective, कि अरे, this market you're not looking at, or,
Correct,
look
correct.
at this and that. Similarly, like even in investing, sometimes when you are in a firm, sometimes it kind of, you feel like, and with, of course, your partners, I think the first mentor for me is my partner. So far, the
Yeah,
whole growth has come in
yeah.
through my partner, and the kind of independence that he has given me to take up deals and all. So I would put that as first. And then after you reach a certain stage, I think that external mentor helped me give some new perspective as to how can you grow beyond this. Like what should be
Yeah.
your targets? After mid-level, you should target getting a board seat or an observer seat, or
Yeah.
try to build more stronger relations with founders. So I think that has helped me in getting more, both an internal in within your organization and an external mentor. Yeah.
No, that's great. That's amazing. In fact, thanks, Pooja. I also went through the same mentorship program. I think, for me, my mentors have been people who have maybe worked in the past, and now that I've left the organization, the relationships have stayed stronger. So anything which comes to personal development, those are the
Wow.
people. But at times you do need people who have been
Hmm.
part of the industry just to
Yes.
understand from their point of view how the industry works, and if you're in a dilemma, what would be the best way out. And there the Winpe cohort really helped so much, so that I'm going for another one now this time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we have really great mentors as part of our panel. So I think why not leverage it to the fullest? In fact, my one of my founders that I'm on the board of now going for the mentorship cohort this time around.
Oh,
It's
amazing.
very hard to find mentors. I mean, in the
Yeah.
US, it's a big thing that you need to have a sponsor, you need to have a mentor, you need to have a coach, somebody who will pull you up from the higher table. And in India, we take it so for granted. I've realized, like even when you don't find or put effort in finding one, and even if you get somebody, you don't put in enough effort to get the
Yeah.
best out of it. And the
Yes.
more you'll see more senior people, they are wanting to give back to their much younger selves, perhaps. So I think that's something that we have not leveraged uh,
Yeah.
to the best of its extent, and something we all can, even the who are people who are very early in this ecosystem. It's a game changer, I would suggest. Hi, Ayushi.
True.
Hi, Aditi. Welcome to this group. Any questions you have?
Hi. No, I had a very, very basic question. I mean, is CFA kind or like having a chartered accountant degree really, really helpful, or is it like a basic requirement for all VC funds or like maybe even growth stage funds?
Sarika, do you want to take that up?
I so no, it's not. So it's most of us are either business people or different. I'm an undergrad in mathematics, not an MBA, right? So it could be varied experiences that you have. So nothing is written in stone. And as early stage, as we were discussing earlier, you need to understand the business
Yeah.
of what the person is doing rather than just solid numbers. So a CFO will give you, of course, a better insight, but nothing over the edge from any other person who's doing that.
All right.
And one thing I want to add is education never goes waste. So if you already have it, don't think there's anything negative about it. But I mean, it's just commonsensical most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's about, being keeping your eyes and ears open, keeping yourself updated as to what is happening in the industry. There are, and because this industry also goes through certain cycles, there are some sectors which are very hot in a particular point in time, and then there's some others which become hot. So how do you keep yourself updated as to what is it that is leading to that change? And even when you're meeting so many different founders, what is which one is the one which has that edge or an alpha to be a winner? Because when e-commerce came in, there were like 20 companies who were starting e-commerce. Flipkart ke saath, there was a Snapdeal, there were many other shop clues, whatnot. But having that knack of understanding what is the real alpha, and is the founder is somebody who can crack that alpha. I think it's more about that instinct, which comes only if you read more, you speak to more people about what's happening. It's more about the industry, like just knowing overall what a successful business looks like. Basically, it's that than any
Yeah.
technical skill.
Yeah, just to add, I mean, it's the first principles, right?
Yeah,
Anywhere. It is not just here. So any
correct.
industry that you're in, you need to know what's happening around you. What are
Yeah,
the other people doing? Why are they doing that?
yeah,
And in especially the VC early stage, there is this definite element of FOMO.
yeah.
There are deals that I have let go of where people have snapped it up and they were waiting for us to say no. And I'm wondering, what did I not see in that? I mean, did I miss anything, or I didn't understand the business? And they have the revenue has gone up 6 times. I mean, one of the cases that you were mentioning earlier, I still don't believe in it. I mean, it's these things happen, right? But you have to stick to what you know and what you believe in. So it's more of your conviction, your understanding, and you stick to what you think is right.
Yeah. And one more question I had. So, have you ever been in a room where you're the only female and it's like very difficult to put your point across because they're all like senior members who are like maybe in a team discussion? Because I myself was working at a firm where I was the only female in the whole team. And have you ever faced a situation where it's very difficult to convince everyone that your point of view or your opinion is the correct one? And how do you put that across in a way that's not disrespectful, and also at the same time sort of showcases your ability to put that point across that, yeah, you're right?
That's a great one. Sarika, please go ahead.
So I feel yes. And, to say the least, this industry is very small and women representation here is even smaller and minuscule for that matter. And that is a problem I think most of us would have faced over a period of time, right? That we're alone. So apart from the CFA, you need skills of presentation. That is what you work on yourself. You sit in front of, so when I was doing my MBA, that's, they would have a camera in front and they would make us speak. So this was in the UK. And that is one of the first things that we learned, that how do you, I mean, what comes across when somebody's talking to you, right? So these are the things, these are the skills. You have to make note of what you want to say, jot it down, pros, cons, and have an argument or have an argument ready, which is polite, but puts the point across very clearly. There are definitely these issues where more men than women have smoke breaks and tea breaks, and all of that. All of us don't do all of that networking where you can have those, water cooler conversations. We have our families to worry about. We have other things to do. So that is the point. When you're in a meeting, that is the only place where you'll be able to present your point of view across, and that is a skill that you need to have.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have solutions in terms of, apart from the fact that you need to practice. Do in
Yeah.
front of a mirror, do in front of a camera, whatever it needs.
Yeah.
Just that is something that you need to have.
I completely agree with Sarika, and I also like to add one more point. What I have realized, that as you grow in the organization, you build that ability to present yourself confidently. And once you have that confidence and once you are able to display that confidence, people also take you seriously. On top of it, till you get to that point, see, it is all about projecting power. How do you project power? One is your own body language. Second is your hierarchy in a team. Third is also about how prepared you are. And when it comes to preparedness, like even before presenting, if you could spend some time in practicing it. I'll tell you, there is somebody I recently met. He was the CEO of Yum Brands in the entire Asia. Yum Brands, which owns KFC, which owns Pizza Hut and many others. he said, like, even today before going into a meeting, I give myself 2 hours to prepare. So, I mean, just imagine the amount of effort somebody is putting in
Wow.
at level to prepare for a meeting. He was going for a guest lecture in Harvard Business School, and he said, I'm just so scared. I have to prepare. I need to be able to answer the questions that today's generation will ask me. That's one. Number two, also, you have to be more prepared in terms of whatever you are saying, is it backed by data? And once you share that data, that what you're saying is not something out of the blue or from thin air, but there is some data and research that you have done behind it, people start taking you seriously. They may ignore you once, they may ignore you twice, but once they see the pattern that yours is the voice which is most logical, they will start listening to you.
Okay, thank you.
Amazing.
That's really helpful. Yeah.
That was a great question, and I remember
Because that's something that I've experienced myself, like multiple times, and I had no mentor or no one to ask this question or like understand what to do in this situation. So yeah.
So this was the question I had asked 3 years ago when I had just joined Winpe. So I'm so glad somebody asked this. Really great. Any further questions, Ayushi, you have? Aditi, you've been with us for some times. Any questions you have that we can address for you specifically?
Like it's a very linked question to my earlier question only. Like how you mentioned that there are like smoke breaks and other sort of conversations between the male members of the team, and you are many a times not a part of those conversations, and you're not able to really become a sort of that palsy colleague, uh, sort of relationship with your other members of the team. So how do you navigate that, and how do you make, like, I mean, I have very good relations with all my colleagues, but I mean, how do you navigate that? Okay, that you are also the part of the same team, but yet there are many moments when you feel like, okay, how do I put myself across so that, okay, I am involved in the next deal, that I am involved in the other, because it happens if you are at an analyst level, a person who's more interacting with them like through different ways, I mean, they get more opportunities. So how do you ensure that your opportunities are not gone just because you're like a female and you're not going for the smoke breaks?
That's an excellent question. Sarika, do you want to pick that up?
I mean, that is a problem. I would say it is because it is how our industry works, right? But Aishi, when so I mean, I'm linking it to your previous question. See, when people see you in a room asking the right kind of questions with the right preparedness, then these other analysts who are not as prepared. So right now we're talking only about the skill set, right? It is what you're bringing to the table, apart from all the relationships, etc. What you're bringing to the table, and that showcase has to be consistent. So even if there is no smoke break or anything, but there would be opportunities where in team meetings or other things where you can ask questions about other deals. Keep your eyes and ears open. Some deal is coming. What industry they are in? Is there something that you can add? Just something to your point that I read about this. These guys are investing. Why are they investing? What is the thesis here? Do you think I can get involved? Or so you have to ask for opportunities.
Yeah.
Opportunities don't come to women very naturally, and I've learned it the hard way that we don't ask for it. So we believe that we are smart. People will notice and ask, give it to us. It doesn't happen. So there was I read a long time back that, when somebody applies for a job, a man would apply for a job even if he's 20% matching some of the skills. A woman would not apply for the same job, even she's 80% eligible. She thinks I should have 90% skills all marked out and then I will apply. So that's the thinking that we have. That's different. That is what we need to break out of and say, give me some part of it. I'm sure I can do a little bit of this portion, if not the whole thing. And I'll learn the balance. We have to work harder. We have to put in longer hours. And that's not just this industry, anywhere else.
I'll just put across a very contradictory point of view also, Ayushi. If you feel that the firm you're in is so male dominant and you're not getting the right opportunities, I mean, switch. I mean, I had realized when I just joined Fireside, I was the only investing member who was a woman. And that was a conscious effort by the team. And I used to feel left out many a times. But over the last 2, 3 years, the split has become actually there are more women. We want diversity on the other side. We feel we have lesser men. So I feel much more comfortable. But earlier when I just joined, I had the similar question. So maybe if you just try hard, start asking the right questions, start asking for the opportunities. And if you still feel you are not getting anywhere, you have got a very long career left, right? You can always switch. Yeah. Hey, hi, Arpita. Hi, Pallavi. Welcome to this breakout room. Any particular questions you have on your minds that we can answer? Please feel free to ask. So, Pooja, on that previous question, since you joined as somebody who was looking after somebody's angel investments, and that turned out into a greater opportunity. I think that's a good way to understand wherein sometimes you take very orthogonal choices, but they turn out to be the best for in the longer term. Do you want to add that? Like, what were you going through when you made that choice? Like, this is very orthogonal
Yeah,
and conventional.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it turned out to be so good. I mean, I actually wrote then a post about it, how I, cracked into a VC. Sometimes what Sarika was mentioning, you don't ask for it. So I could have not messaged. That cold message really changed so much for me.
yeah,
So you just go and ask for it, that cold message really. So, I mean, worst case is that someone will not reply. So
yeah,
that's okay. You will have to, like, it's okay. I mean, you develop a thick skin. I mean, not even like they didn't want to reply. They're doing too many other things.
yeah.
So you can just, so yeah, I think that quite changed. And from there, cold message. Now, even
Tina, my panel is back.
All right.
I can see them in the room.
Thank you so much, everyone. I would request our speakers and the participants to share any takeaways or insights from today's session that they would like to share, please.
I think one of the key things what I realized in my session is definitely that we really underplay the role of having a mentor. In the US, it's it's really structured that you get a sponsor, you get a mentor, you get a coach, and that's how your career progresses within the company. Whereas in India, at least the women in the workforce, we are still waiting for somebody to come and help and show us that invisible hand rather than asking for it. And that was majority of the questions which were there in my panel as to how do you go out, ask for help, how do you find the like-minded people who can, irrespective of being having any direct connection, they can help you out. And I mentioned to them that there are many more folks out there who have been through the journey and looking to help the next generation, and all you need to do is reach out. Once you reach out, you will be surprised as to how much help is out there available that you can avail.
I can go next, Tina. I think one of the highlight question and remark on which we spent a lot of time was networking. How important networking is in times today. How do you leave an impact through various channels of networking? And we spoke about various channels of networking that exist today. Winpe has become, that channel today for a lot of aspiring women who are wanting to build careers. But it is a continuous. You can't just network once and leave it at that. It's like a sales journey. In the traditional age of how salesmen would just hound you all the time, you have to do this for yourself to be well networked and be relevant at all points in time with everyone.
Completely agree on that, Charu. Would anybody else like to add here?
I just want to say, Tina, we needed more time.
Point taken, Charu. We plan longer sessions the next time.
Tina, in our session, actually we were doing a short Q&A, and we had to come back to this room. So maybe we could do we could take 1 or 2 questions from the participants.
Sure, please.
If we have 2-3 minutes.
Yes, please. Any of the participants have any questions, please put them in the chat box.
Yeah, I think sorry for interrupting. I just thought it'd be much easier for me to ask a question rather than put it in the chat box. This is my first Winpe session, and I'm so glad I got to have such panelists. But my one question from the session point of view was that, is this session more directed towards people who have already established themselves in this career, or is it like we'll also have sessions for people who are trying to break through into this? Like, because I'm a student, so most of the things that were discussed were a bit I mean, they were more for discussions for people who are already in this field. So I just wanted to know how the sessions are going to be structured, and is it more for people who are already working, or will it also be for people who are trying to, get an idea of how things work and how they can break into this industry?
Hiranmai, let me answer this for you. So we have these sessions happening on a regular basis. This session was more for women who are early on in their career in PEVC, but we do have sessions which talk about various roles in PEVC. How do you enter this the PEVC roles? So the last one was around that. I would suggest that you could go to the Winpe YouTube channel. All of the sessions are recorded, and you would have access to the previous ones there as well.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Tina, I can take a question on the chat which has come
I
up.
just wanted to add to what Tina said. See, while we might say that the speakers today are women who are in PEVC, I think some of their life lessons and some of the decisions they have taken in their professional journeys, those are things that can be applied to any sector. Like when you're talking about leveraging mentors, when you're talking about how you take your decisions, how do you choose your next path, those are things that are replicable. So yes, we do have specific sections and specific topics. I think once a quarter, focused on how you enter PVC. I think some of these are applicable across sectors.
Nupur,
Like to ask a question.
Nupur, related to your point, there's a question on the chat by Ayushi who says, "Are we open to? Is the PVC world open to hiring ex-founders?" Of course, I mean, the answer is yes, if there is a relevant skill set that exists to join, particularly a PE or a VC team. But the PEs and the VCs are always investing in companies for which we always look at people who are ready to take on any CXO role or any mid-level role, depending upon the skill set you bring in. There's nothing like you can't do if you have the relevant skill set, is my short answer to that.
Thank you, Charu.
I'd love to go and ask a question to all our mentors, just driving from your personal journeys. If you could shed some lights on, what kind of skill sets are sought after for early fresh graduates looking for PVC careers, and any recommendations for someone like me. I'm a fresh graduate from UCL, from London. So what kind of skills are you looking for in your analyst associates, in terms of both soft and hard skills?
Maybe Kathy, I'll start and maybe others can add as well, right? I think a couple of things that I usually look for when we're looking at candidates, I would say is first is intellectual curiosity. And that goes a long way, right? Like really being curious about wanting to do this job. And that you can illustrate your curiosity in a few ways, right? And some of it goes into more preparedness, right? Uh, you should be aware of what is happening in the industry. Like I think like it seems like a very basic thing, but like at least like if you're trying to get into PA and VC, like read the papers, see what's happening, who is doing what. Like I think that shows to me a lot of intent, right? That someone who's really curious. Second is being prepared for the interview, and it seems more other motherhood and apple pie, but really like first of all, like a lot of you will have technical interviews, and I think lack of preparedness, like understanding how to build a model, things which are very basic that people will expect, at least on the private equity side. Maybe VC is different. I think preparedness on the technical aspect extremely important, and that is easily done. That is like 1 month of work that if you're looking at interviewing in this industry, you should go ahead and do it. The second thing I would say is prepared about the interview and the person that you are speaking with. So I think it is not like a one size fits all, right? Every fund has a different philosophy, different sector exposure, different kind of people that they hire. So I think doing your homework on the fund extremely important. And I would say last thing is try to speak to people in the industry before you apply. I think, and I said that in my panel as well, like LinkedIn is your source. If you're not connected to people, finding a warm connect and trying to just have a chat before you actually sit across the table for an interview, extremely important, right? Because you can ask some of your basic questions, get to understand them better before it is time to interview. So don't wait till when a recruiter reaches out that now the process is starting. Use the time when someone is not recruiting to get to know them, have a coffee, understand the job, and then you can self-select yourself also, right? What is it that you like, which fund you like, what is the kind of work that you would do? I would say these are some of the things that we look at.
I can probably add from an early VC's perspective because the skill set that may be required are perhaps 50% similar, but at an early stage, one of the key skill that we really value in somebody's, in addition to curiosity, knowing, having a network, because the deals are happening at such a lightning pace, being able to build those networks quickly, understanding where the industry is moving. Not just that, because this industry is at least the early stages wherein there is flavor of the season every 3 to 4 months. Sometimes it's AI, sometimes it's blockchain, sometimes it's consumer brand, sometimes it's consumer tech, and it keeps changing and it comes in waves. So if you're able to pick the right space and be able to build the right network to say, okay, what's picking up, where others are investing, because many a times deals don't even come to you. Like the founder does not reach out to you. If it's a good founder, many people would have reached out to that founder before him coming to the market. So understanding who are those folks who are building, I would just say that adds a lot of value. And that's one, the ability to hustle, build the network fast is something we really value when we hire at an associate stage.
If I can just build on to the responses given by Ankita
Sure.
and Nishtha. Khyati, I'm assuming you're an undergrad. Let me just give you some hard reality as well. While all of it is 100% true, the fact is it's very, very hard to get into the PEVC world if you don't have an experience. There are very few PE firms that give opportunity to undergrads for a 2-year management trainee or a pre-MBA sort of candidates to come in for a period of time. And then most students or most candidates or most employees, after having done 2 years, they uh, go out and do the MBA, or their stint gets over in 2 years, depending upon the organization's policy. So it's hard, but whatever has been pointed out by saying, be aware of which are these firms that have the 2-year program, which are the industries that you like, and which are the industries, therefore, are being leveraged in a particular PVC is very, very important. Otherwise, I'll be very honest, there are only a bunch of firms in our country that exist as PVCs, and there are thousands of students wanting to be aspiring to be a part of this industry. It is a competitive space.
Right. Thank you so much, Aru. Actually, I did my master's from UCL, and I had an opportunity to work with Pooja Parmar, who's also part of our mentors group today. I was a pre-MBA analyst at Equanimity back then with 2 years of experience. I'm so glad to see her here. And now I'm actually making a transition from PE to VC. So if the panel is still open, any comments, any recommendations in making this transition from an early stage to a hardcore private equity late stage deals?
Then it's just about getting an opportunity, Kathy. I think you have the right elements really. It's really about which sector are you interested in and figure out which PEVC is doing those sort of sector investments and reach out to them. It's also about timing because you would understand that these teams are very, very lean across the PEVC firms. Most of our firms are like 10, 15, 20 people at max. Attrition is very, very low at the analyst associate level because they are rotating amongst ourselves only. So you just have to find the right timing.
Got it. Thank you so much, Aru. Thank you.
Yeah, I strongly recommend Kathy for all the PE folks who are listening.
Thank you so much, Pooja.
Thank you so much. I think we'll move ahead. We don't see more questions in the chat box, and I'm sure people have a lot of things and people don't want to end the conversation, but we have a paucity of time. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We hope you found the session useful. Thank you to our speakers for such an insightful session on various topics. I'm launching a quick poll now. Please take a moment to vote when it appears on your screen. Please select your answer and click submit. All right. Before we wrap up, I'm excited to share that registrations for Winpe's Leadership and Summit Awards 2026 is now open. This is India's foremost forum for leaders shaping the future of private equity, venture capital, and entrepreneurship, bringing together investors, founders, and industry leaders for thought leadership, recognition, and meaningful connections. Over our last 3 editions, we've had more than 1,300 attendees and close to 300 firms come and learn from 160 industry stalwarts. You can find all the details and register through the link that we just shared in the chat. We have multiple discount options, especially for women who participated in Winpe events. So please don't hesitate to write to us directly at info@winpeforum.com and we'll make sure to assist you. We love to see many of you join us at WLSA 2026. It's shaping up to be an incredible event. These Winpe Ignite online sessions are available on YouTube. For those of you who've missed the previous session, you can catch them up on YouTube. We've shared the link in the chat box below. Do join the Winpe Ignite WhatsApp group to keep yourself updated on more such sessions, job openings, and masterclasses. And do join our database that we share with our member firms to support their hiring processes. We've already shared the link to join the group in the chat box. And lastly, don't forget to share your key takeaways of this session over social media with the hashtag Winpe, hashtag Winpe Ignite, and don't forget to tag Winpe. See you everyone at our next talk coming up soon. Thank you so much.